London edition of the Metro newspaper of the 15th of May 2013. Police killers will never be released. Criminals who murder police will be locked up for the rest of their lives under proposals to be announced today. Right. Theresa May will tell the Police Federation. So she's a Home Office minister, is she? Theresa May, I guess. Anyway, I actually think the police should have equal rights to everyone else, not extra rights. When the police start getting special treatment, it's a police state in my eyes. The police should be equal to you. Otherwise, they're not heroes. They're people getting special treatment. And people who get special treatment aren't heroes. They're dictators, just telling you what to do. You know, if someone's a hero, they help you, they help others, they don't help themselves. I don't believe in this special treatment for people who rule business, whether it's soldiers, police, judges, anyone. We should all have the same rights. As far as I'm concerned, the police show that they're bad people by wanting special treatment. And the same issue has this article, Barbaric Paedophile Ring Finally Brought to Justice. They got away with abusing children for years, apparently. Yeah. So what do the authorities say about this? 2 care homes where staff failed to protect the girls have since been closed by Oxford County Council. This is what the authorities do. They blame buildings and don't actually act against the people responsible at all. They blame buildings. Anytime anything goes wrong, they blame a building and close the building, and the people in it just get put somewhere else. So we have incompetent staff, or even abusive staff, who knows, and they've been put somewhere else, no doubt, and they're just working somewhere else in the same jobs, and the building took the blame. Mad, isn't it? But that's what people take, I suppose. We should all be rioting in the streets and killing these people, whether or not they are the authorities, because they deserve it. And the paragraph beneath says, the authorities' chief executive, police chief executive, I guess. The authorities, is this Oxford or Oxford Police Authority? I don't know. The authorities' chief executive, Joanna Simons, apologised last night, saying, we didn't know the nature of what was happening, the devious nature of such depravity. So they did know what was happening then, they just didn't know the nature of it. Is that right? Apparently they were told about these things again and again, many times. Apparently people have been going on about this up and down the country to various authorities for many years, in some cases over 10 years. But they didn't know the nature of what was happening, right? So they knew it was happening, but they didn't know the nature of it. They didn't know it was so devious. They didn't know the devious nature of such depravity. They knew such depravity was happening, but they didn't know the devious nature of it. So they're not punishing the depravity. They're not punishing what was happening. They knew about that for years. They're punishing them for being devious. Maybe they kept something from the authorities. Who knows? I have no idea. But it sounds pretty sick and disgusting, doesn't it? These men were all Muslims. You know, they're these Muslim grooming gangs. That's worth mentioning because it's a cultural thing, which means it's a big thing, not just some stray group here and there. It's bad when people get together and start making things worse, obviously. And a cultural thing is obviously already a big group. So it obviously does need tackling, but because that would be a racial thing or an ethnic thing or a cultural thing or something, it's not tackled. Probably out of sheer cowardice, or maybe it's just the expense of tackling it. It needs dealing with, obviously, but it's not being dealt with. Anyway, so also and they're picking on people who are non-Islamic, which is racist anyway. Not necessarily white people, although white people get picked on the most, I believe, so that's racist as well. But just anyone who's not Islamic. Maybe not all Islamics are like this, but those who are not should condemn those who are, and they all stick together, which is racist again. And if you say they're racist for being racist, then that's said to be racist because it's racist to criticize them because they're not white people. And white people certainly can't criticize anyone as racist because we're the only people deemed to be racist, even though the white race is said to not even exist. It's insane, isn't it? It needs dealing with. So why is it not being dealt with? Possibly there's a racial element as well. Obviously, there are some Islamics, some Muslims in positions of power now. But this woman here is her surname is Simons, the authority's chief executive, Joanna Simons. Simons is a Jewish name, and it's possible that Jews are also trying to victimize us. A lot of Jews, you can find this information on YouTube. A lot of Jews do express hatred of the West. They say we didn't help them enough in World War II. That actually implies that the West is responsible for anyone in the world who wants to be assisted by us at any time. We're just looked upon as everybody's servant. You know, if you need help, the West has to give it to you, otherwise we're bad people. But a lot of Jews do have this attitude to the West, to Westerners, to Europeans, to white people. Maybe this woman has Joanna Simons. I don't know. She might have. Jews are internationalists anyway. They must be because they're spread throughout the world. So they have to be internationalist in order to assist each other. You know, because if they can bring about globalization, then they can help their people more. Nationalism doesn't help help Jews because it allows them to be, removed if necessary, and that's not what they want. Who wants to be removed? No one, including Jews. So destroying national feelings, including by any kind of means really, helps. So including allowing one enemy like Arabs to harm another of your enemies, such as those you want to keep suppressed or just weakened, not in a strong state, such as your host. You don't want your host to feel strong enough to get up and chuck you out if they want to. So, it's possible that she also has racial feelings against white people, against Europeans. Jews don't identify with white people, they identify with their religion. Even if they look white, they actually come from the Middle East anyway, themselves. So they'll be like him, really. They're genetically identical, as scientists have shown. Any that look white just have a lot of white blood in them, but they do identify with their religion more than anything else. And they do not identify with any particular national group, which means they don't like any particular national group. Because if they did that, they would have to base themselves somewhere, and they don't want to do that because they're everywhere. So if they want to help their own people, they cannot take any cannot be loyal to any other group of people, because that will start them possibly, for example, fighting against their own people in another country. So they're actually internationalists. Any fighting they do is intended to bring about globalization. You might think they'd have changed a little bit when they got their own country, Israel, but it's not big enough to support them all. In the West, where conditions are favourable, they've bred up much too much to all go back to Israel. So they're all internationalists now, permanently, whether on the right or the left of the political spectrum. So there we are, an awful lot of Jews harming us and running the country. Just look at the Labour Party, for example, now being run by David Miliband, who's a Jew and an internationalist, you can bet. Even if he doesn't say it openly, if the Labour Party get back in again, they'll probably open the borders again and have open immigration, open doors border policy like New Labour had under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. And they'll just keep letting people in. And this problem of Islamic grooming gangs, picking mostly, almost entirely on white English people, on Europeans, will continue and will get worse and worse. So, and meanwhile, the police are just useless and have been for over 10 years in a number of these cases. I think another case like this was dealt with a few months ago, and there seems to be this one again now. It's happening up and down the country. So I could actually understand somebody killing a police officer or someone like this Joanna Simons woman, and rightfully so, and I'd support them. But under the present regime, they'd never be released. I think that would be terrible, disgusting. I mean, how can these things, as they have been, be allowed to go on for over 10 years? Allowed to go on for over 10 years. It's an absolute and utter disgrace. And I certainly don't think that the authorities should get special treatment at all. And certainly not while they're behaving really as uselessly and harmfully as they have been in so many cases like this one. Thank you for watching. Bye.